Hi there, my name is Kay Moon and I'm a Western astrologer and Twin Flame channel, and this is a video about the Virgo new moon solar eclipse taking place on September 21st at 3:53 p.m. If you happen to be on the eastern seaboard of the United States, definitely check a time zone converter for your local time. Join me live on Thursday. So I'm going to be live on Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern for a chat with a special guest. I can't wait to share with you who this is. The two of us have been friends and have had each other's back for a while now. And anytime we hang out, it's a total vibe. And you're going to catch it when we hang out, that it's a lot of fun. We are our own party, and we decided we wanted to invite you to it. It's free. We'll be here on YouTube. But if you want a reminder, definitely subscribe to the private list. The link to do that is below the video. And make sure you've subbed and hit the notification bell so that you know when we're live. We're going to talk about how you can trust yourself more in these high change and uncertain times. As I've been watching the astrology of 2025 and seeing people's reactions to the intensity of having their lives kind of either crumble or disintegrate or get ripped out from around them, I figured it would be really good to put something together to help you trust your intuition more, to have some clarity about where things are going, and to share some channeled messages about what I'm seeing, that both me and my special guest on Thursday has also been seeing, but from a very different vantage points. So we're going to be here. Make sure you get on the private list, sub, hit the notification bell as well here on YouTube, so that way you don't miss this really critical conversation. Second announcement here, September is sold out. So I want to thank you all my private listers, those who have been on the private list. You've received special announcements about September, special pricing for September. You also get access to special events and early access to those. So I'm happy that we got to connect in that way on the private list. And I really hope that if you're not on the list, you're like thinking that you're actually like clicking to get on the list right now so that you don't miss opportunities like this in the future. If I'm able to open October sessions, and that's a big if, they will be open at the end of this month for the YouTube community, but I will open them for the private list first. And just like they did in September, they may sell out for that list. So keep your eyes on your inbox if you'd like a reading. And if you need to make sure I'm in your inbox, you know what to do. Okay, so let's get into it. Here is our Virgo new moon solar eclipse. It's the second new moon in Virgo for Virgo season, which is a little rare. We had one almost 28 days ago at the time of this recording, right at the very early degrees of Virgo, but it wasn't an eclipse. This one is. And so, as my astrology teacher, Nadia Shaw, likes to say, new moons, we get one every month. It's a new beginning. But new moon solar eclipses, that's a different story. These are consequential, majorly impactful new moon, new beginnings that tend to have long-term effects. And this one is absolutely no different. We're going to talk about it now here. One of the things that really seems important to share is that there's so much cardinal and mutable energy. Let me just pull this out. What that means is there are planetary placements in a lot of the cardinal signs and the mutable signs at the moment of this new moon solar eclipse. When we have planets in major or in mostly cardinal and mostly mutable simultaneously, we know this to be a season of initiation, change, a switching of a cycle or a season, the opening of a new chapter, and that this will have It's opening up our consciousness to be a bit more flexible, a bit more bendable to newness, to be willing to try things we've never done, to get things that we've never had. And so we are certainly seeing that. And because this particular eclipse comes with a lot of occupation of planets in Earth signs, we also know that this change is going to be taking place in the third dimension, meaning this isn't an emotional change, it's not a spiritual change, this is not some, you know, thought change or new paradigm that's coming online for us. This is a rearrangement of our third dimensional reality as we know it. And in many cases, given what I've looked at and I'm going to share with you now, this is a rearrangement of the people in our third dimension. Who's in our lives, who's not in our lives, who's in what seat in our lives, rotation in relationship, bosses, friendships, collaborations, etc., direct reports. We're going to see all of that shift. So I wanted to make sure that I gave you that context as we get into the nitty-gritty. Some of you are already like, oh, yeah, that's been happening. Well, there have been some activation points prior to now, and I'm going to lay them out for you so you can track your life. Let's get into it. Here's our Virgo new moon solar eclipse at that 29th degree of Virgo. We have a conjunction here to Mercury in early degrees of Libra. And then we also have an opposition to Saturn, Nessus, and Neptune. They're stacked up in Pisces, Nessus and Saturn, and then the 0 degree mark of Aries, that is Neptune there. This combination of energies in Virgo and Pisces, and a little bit of Aries and Libra, this is a demand for changing a habit, a pattern, a health issue, a routine, and even the power dynamics in certain relationships, especially in the world of work where supervisors and direct reports are concerned. We'll talk about the specific type of other relationships in a moment, but there's so much cardinal and mutable energy activated with this eclipse that coming into it with a sense of, okay, this is new and I'm willing to be flexible and try this out and see how it works and be a team player in the midst of this change. This is some of what will be necessary in order to move forward in a way that's constructive. Digging in our heels at this point, insisting and demanding that things be the way they have always been, that's really not going to work here. This is a moment where the third dimension is going to start rearranging itself to move things in the direction of alignment for us. Now, those of you who have done things with me like Manifestation Mastery or the Union Workshop, you already know that if you have set your coordinates for a timeline jump, you're clear about your intention, you know what you want, this is the type of energy that will facilitate your third dimension rearranging itself to bring those outcomes about. Where we have been wishy-washy, uncertain, unclear in our intentionality, we are going to start to see some of that be reflected back to us in a moment like this type of eclipse. Additionally, we will also see where we've been unconsciously clear or unconsciously decided. The universe heard the request, even if it was in opposition to what we consciously say we want. This will be a moment of congruence with how we've been vibrating and feeling that the third dimension takes on, rather than the third dimension starting to align itself with where we've paid lip service to. So, quick example, let's just say that I keep saying I want strawberry ice cream. Strawberry ice cream, strawberry ice cream's the best. But anytime I've ever had the opportunity to request a dessert, the dessert is always chocolate. I'm always choosing chocolate. Even desserts that have chocolate ice cream on them may have a strawberry on it, but it is never my choice to go with strawberry. My choice is always to go with chocolate, even though I'm constantly talking about strawberry ice cream. This is a moment in time where the universe will say, yeah, you've been paying lip service to strawberry, but I see the truth of what you really want is chocolate. So I'm going to line up accordingly. And so this is a great opportunity also to check in if you have been unconsciously manifesting results you don't want to see in your life. What gets shown to you at this eclipse is going to mirror to you where your dominant frequency has been. And it's going to give you the opportunity to make some adjustments and course correct. If you recognize, yeah, okay, what I'm seeing in the third dimension, that's not it. I didn't sign. I now recognize that I have unconsciously enrolled into that and signed up for that. I would like to make some edits to my order universe. I would like to I meant strawberry ice cream. Forgive me, yes, all those times I was choosing chocolate. What I actually want is strawberry. Let me get myself in alignment accordingly with my behaviors. So, this is a really great reality check moment for us around how powerful we are when it comes to the way we've been utilizing these energies and how much more consciousness we can step into and utilizing them in a way that serves us. Okay. Now, that's the manifestation, creatorship, piece of this. And I wanted to make sure that I said that because these energies, as much as they can influence us, we get to decide how. And it's really important for anyone listening to understand that that's a big piece of the way that I read, that I leave you with a lot of your own authority and your relationship with God. You guys get to decide how you utilize this energy. I really want to make sure that that's not taken away from you in the work here. Okay. So, interesting things going on here with Neptune retrograde in Aries there. There's a simultaneous truth revealed while its causes may be obscured. So, the fact that a relationship is ending, but the cause of it may be unknown. The fact that someone at work got a promotion and you did not, the reason for it could be unclear. The result of a health related test, the diagnosis may show up now. But what's behind the diagnosis? How did we get here? What's the cause? Still not fully understood. You get the idea. There could be some clarity landing with this eclipse because it's very third dimensional. It's going to be very tangible what new chapter is opening. There will be no way to not experience it with your five senses. But because of Neptune's opposition to Mercury and both of them speaking to this eclipse, Mercury is our clarity maker, Neptune is our confusion maker. There is some clarity landing here. There is movement and action to a degree, especially with Mars semi-sextile this eclipse energy. But it's fraught with some level of information that's still obscured. The whole picture is not yet illuminated, and it may be illuminated as we get into the November Mercury retrograde, or even when Mercury gets in shadow, as it meets up here with Mars and the creation goddess, all of them in Scorpio in early October. The movement of Saturn, Nessus, and Neptune at the edge of Pisces and Aries over here on the opposite side of the eclipse. This is what may deliver a bit of self-determination for change, some unwillingness to be the same person with the same habits, yielding the same results in some relationship of import in our lives. It is really about turning over a new leaf, a fresh start, free from some of the patterns in ourselves that we're ready to release. And so What's interesting about this is that Saturn and Neptune at the cusp of Aries for all of us collectively has been creating a lot of self-disorientation. Saturn has been insistent that we carry new boundaries, new structure in terms of our identity, shed parts of our identity that no longer serve us and aren't congruent with our higher self. Neptune is washing certain aspects of our identity out to sea, releasing those aspects of our identity, calling us into the higher spiritual realms of who we are. This combination here is really forcing the hand of authenticity within all of us collectively. And so, at an eclipse like this energy in opposition to the eclipse is giving us a taste of some true colors sort of energy, both from us to other people and from other people to us about where they're at and who they are and what they're dealing with, what they're working with. And so this sort of energy it can be a little challenging when it's like, oh, I didn't quite know or see or understand. Oh, this is where things stand. Got it. This may also bring up a level of uncertainty about the plan, the strategy, or the steps to take with Neptune opposite Mercury and the Moon. Both Mercury and the Moon are governing planets here of Virgo, both the modern and the ancient, respectively. But it will nevertheless be clear what you've been doing, the way things have been. Yeah, that's not going to be possible any longer. That stage and season has ended. And here is a new beginning for us to actualize who we want to be with new habits, fresh patterns, new daily steps, one step at a time, because that's the way Virgo works. The freshness of this and the clarity that there is no way back, only forward, may be a little bit like learning how to walk on unstable legs. Feel maybe a bit like Bambi, like, this is new territory. I don't know what to do here. You may slip, you may fall down, only to be clear, getting up and moving forward is the only option here. The activation points for this energy for the super sensitive was 90 days ago, June 21st. For the highly sensitive, we're talking about July 21st. And for the sensitive, we're talking about August 21st, 30 days ago. You would have seen the changes related to these themes play out in your life within the week surrounding those dates. Post-eclipse activation dates will be October 21st, November 21st, and December 21st, with most people experiencing life changes within the 30 to 60 days before and after. Now, there are some significant additional influences to this new moon solar eclipse that I want to talk about. There's two of them in particular that will add some color and some nuance. But if you're already hearing something that resonates and explains something in your life, I'm going to invite you to hit that subscribe button and notification bell. I'm also going to invite you to either share a comment or share it with a friend who's going through something similar, who could just use the validation. They're not crazy, but these planets are going ham in our lives. So the first influence that I want to bring your attention to is Pluto and Pallas here at the very beginning of Aquarius. They are trine to this new moon up here. We also see a trine from Uranus there at the beginning of Gemini. It stands to note that both Uranus, Pluto, and Pallas are all retrograde. So Pluto's bringing an ending, closure. This is Pluto's main job. This could even be a resurrection of something that closed while Pluto was direct. So this was any time before May 4th of this year, only for it to die off in a permanent way when Pluto goes direct again post retrograde. That's October 14th. But remember, I said one of the post eclipse activation dates would be October 21st. And so this is where you may see some of the finalizing effects of this eclipse. The trine to Uranus will guarantee some surprises, the unforeseen, in some cases, shocks and chaos as this change takes place because Uranus is retrograde in the sign that deals with communications and consciousness. And Mercury, the planet that deals with communication and consciousness, is under the influence of Saturn and Neptune, restriction and confusion, respectively. Ultimately, what this means is that communication about change may be lacking, unclear, purposely obscured at this time, but nevertheless, we're going to see it, we're going to know it, we're going to experience the changes in the present time. Now, there could also be some information that's misleading or misrepresented. And some of this could be intentional, unfortunately. So if you're requiring clarity to make good decisions based on the changes unfolding around you or with your body, I strongly recommend, if you can, to wait until at least Mercury is out of range and in a stronger position, since the other planets will take much longer to change, meaning Pluto and Uranus. Now, this could be as early as around September 27th, although I don't love we get to that date. Mercury will be out at the tail end of Libra, but then it'll be opposite Eris and Chiron, whom I've been speaking with you all about for some time. That energy is not the best for getting clarity. There's especially in interpersonal or relationship related conversations, because it's going to be very easy to get into blame game and victim mode at that time. But hey, you got to do what you got to do here. So, above all else, my encouragement and counsel is to trust the God within you, trust the timing of the unfoldments in your life. There's got to be some lesson, some growth in this. If it is necessary to push for clarity now, you may find as well, if this is a health issue that has shown up, it's necessary to get a second and third opinion as we move toward the October timeframe. Now, the time frame I prefer for deeper conversations to help us understand the changes showing up in interpersonal relationships is around October 11th, as we'll see Mercury strengthened by Mars in Scorpio at that time, and deeper conversations that don't have Neptune or Chiron involved, bringing obfuscation of truth or victimhood and blame games into it, can happen at that time frame. Like I said, if this is a health issue, a second or a third opinion along these timelines can really help get you clarity about the appropriate next step for you when it comes to a wellness journey, if it's a wellness journey that is showing itself at this eclipse that's beginning at this time. Now, again, I know that's a long time to wait. So, again, I just repeat, my counsel is to trust the God in you and do what you got to do to keep your life moving forward in constructive and positive ways, because this is not easy energy. It is very uncomfortable energy. In some places and cases with folks that I have been speaking to over the last month, I'm just seeing how much this has facilitated not just uncertainty, but in some cases, some crises of confidence. But within that, there's also opportunities for certainty and clarity about who you are and who you're not, where you fit and where you don't, what you want and what you don't want. And so utilize these for the empowerment that they can provide, because they are shoring up our clarity and certainty about the nuances and details of what we want to experience in this lifetime, and allowing us to adjust and modify our behaviors accordingly. Let's get into the second major influence here with this new moon solar eclipse. We see a sextile to Jupiter in Cancer. There's Jupiter in Cancer sextiling this new moon solar eclipse. We also see a sextile to Vesta, Juno, and Lilith in Scorpio there. Okay. And Vesta is out in Sagittarius, the sign of truth. Now, this narrows down the focus in terms of which relationships are changing at this time and headed into new territory, a new chapter, a new pattern. Jupiter here in Cancer and Juno here in Scorpio are the husband and the wife of the zodiac. They are partners. So both professional and romantic partnerships of all sorts are the ones where we'll feel this shift the most. Now, the change could be catalyzed by something to do with one or the other's work, projects, or health. Like one partner has been told they have to make a dietary or lifestyle change for health reasons, and that impacts the well being of both since they live together. Or could be the change of a status or roles at work that throws either the partnerships or collaborations at work into disarray, or privately for the partner, the romantic partner of the person who's going through a work situation, it can throw the marriage or relationship into chaos on the home front. Either way, the relationships most impacted here will be partnerships, romantically and at work. And because the sign that governs juniors and seniors at work, direct reports and bosses, is Virgo, you may see some of these relationships change as well. The energy speaks to at least one person in the connection feeling headstrong and needing to do things their way, regardless of the fallout. And that's a function of Lilith's influence here on Juno. And the other, or others, as the case may be in a professional setting, could be feeling a range of emotions from sympathetic to outright done wrong, with Jupiter also in communication with Chiron and Eris. And so Jupiter will be speaking to this configuration here. Whatever is changing at this time, it may take some time to sort through it. So, my counsel here is to be as patient as you can with everyone involved, as some of the people you're dealing with, they may not have a lot of information yet for themselves. Now, there are some people who feel the need to change, but can't always explain it until after they've shifted and things are in motion. And then there are those who, there are some changes that happen at work that need to happen before they can be discussed. So I've never really been in a situation like that at work. I really try to operate in full transparency, but I do understand that some of you do work in very delicate financial and political settings where the need for discretion is required. Like movement needs to happen before discussion can happen. And this is one of those eclipses where you may find that this is the case. Now, that said, the signs who will feel this eclipse the most will be some very cuspy signs, because we see here this new moon in Virgo, just like the new moon in Virgo 28 days ago was also cuspy. It was at the cusp of Leo and Virgo. This one is at the cusp of Libra and Virgo. This is going to really bring intention and focus on mutable and cardinal signs. So pay attention to your sun, moon, rising, and stelliums that sit between the end of mutable and cardinal signs. So we're talking the, of course, Virgo Libra cusp, the Pisces Aries cusp, the Sagittarius Capricorn cusp, the Gemini Cancer cusp. Okay. This will also activate the lives of those who have sun, moon, rising, or stelliums at the edge of earth air signs very impactfully as well. So, at the edge of our earth air signs, we're talking about Capricorn, Aquarius cusps. We're also talking about Taurus and Gemini cuspers as well. If you have sun, moon, rising, or stellium planets in those first or last 10 degrees, first or last decan of the signs that I just mentioned, then you're gonna want to pay extra attention to the things that I've shared here, as your life is probably already feeling the impact of these. And if you have friends or loved ones, family members who have personal planets there or placements there, uh, call and check in. They could probably use a little or a lot of support at this time as they navigate the unfoldments. And so that's what I have. The invitation here is for you to join me live on Thursday for a chat and some teaching about how to navigate uncertain times. Because this uncertainty, I want to be honest, I know a lot of us thought by this time in 2025, we'd be in a different place. Life would be clearer, things would be cleaner, things would be easier. And it's just not. And I want to be really fair with you going into 2026, there's just more change. So I want to talk with you about how to navigate this sort of thing along with a special guest on Thursday at 7 p.m. here on the K Moon YouTube channel. Be sure to like, hit that notification bell, subscribe, and if you're not on the private list, get on it because I do offer them special things and I want you to have special things, okay? I like having special things for you. So if you like special stuff like I do, preferred treatment like I do, princess treatment like I do, then jump on that list. Link to do it is below this video. And if you're joining me for the twin flame, divine counterpart, soul connection, soulmate, lunar update that goes with this Virgo new moon solar eclipse, I'll see you over there. Take great care and bye for now.